Schultz with FM News 101.1, and we're here with Jon Lovitz. How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. So, I was going to say, I had a story, I didn't know if I should tell you or not, but when Saturday Night Live was on when I was younger, you completely scared me to death because you always played the devil, and it just totally freaked me out. Like, every time I've ever seen you since, I'm like, I just picture you with the red horns. And
Well, you know, it's funny that you found that scary because the costume woman, Pam, she goes, what do you want to wear as the devil? So we're looking at stuff. She goes, well, she goes, what about this? And it was like the cheapest possible, you know, a $13 costume from like, you know, a Halloween store. And it looked so fake, and the horns, these little horns. It was like for a 5-year-old kid, you know, would wear it. And a plastic pitchfork. I go, that. Because it was just so funny. It was like no attempt to make it real. And it's ironic that scared you.
I know. I don't know what that says about me, that the $5 Halloween
Well, you were
costume.
how old were you?
10.
Oh, 10.
So.
Well, you were a kid, yeah.
Or maybe I just am too sensitive. I don't know.
Or maybe my acting was so great you actually thought it was the real devil.
A little. It was your facial expressions. It wasn't the costume. It was
this?
Yes. See? How does that not freak someone out?
I don't know.
But anyway, I want to talk a little about how you got into stand-up, because you're here all weekend doing stand-up. And stand-up, I mean, you know, comedy, sketch comedy and stand-up, kind of similar beasts, but different
No,
as
they're
well.
not. They're not similar at all. A sketch comedy, you know, first of all, it's a comedy scene of 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes. It has a beginning, middle, and then there's a story. You're acting with someone else. You're playing a character. You're doing an acting scene. Really, stand-up, you're talking directly to the audience. And it's just you on stage by yourself for an hour. It's very different. And you write in your own material, and it's tough. And you have to know how to learn. You have to learn how to do a whole show by yourself. And it's very different. It's very difficult. And when you're on that stage by yourself, I used to go up years ago and try to do it, and my heart would just be pounding in my chest. And finally, I was 46, and the movie roles were drying up, and I needed more work. And I told my agent and manager, get me work. I'm going to run out of money in 5 years. And they both said, why don't you sell your house? So I said, I have a better idea. I'm going to learn how to do stand-up and then fire both of you. And that's what I did. And fear is a good motivator. I didn't want to live at a less level than I was living financially, so I got to find another way to make money. But it was something that I always wanted to do. So the fear of going, you know, back to being poor again really motivated me to go out and learn how to do stand-up. And I started going to this club, the Laugh Factory on Sunset, and the owner, Jamie Masada, was always very supportive. At Sunset, you know, Boulevard in Los Angeles. So I'd go, and I said, you got to force me on stage. And it was really starting over, you know. And I'm 46, everyone else is 30. But there's comics like Dane Cook, who I'd never heard of. And they go, well, Dane's like the hot new comic. And he was very supportive and helpful. And just having their support made a huge difference.
So I guess, can you learn how to do stand-up? Can anyone do it? Or?
Oh, sure, I think so, you know. But it's like anything. You have to, you know, it takes a long time. I had an advantage, I think, because one of the big things on stand-up, you say, well, who are you? Who are you on stage? What is your comic persona? Who are you? And I went, oh, well, I already have that because from doing talk shows and everything, so it's that. And then I have to, you know, write jokes. I go, well, I know how to write jokes, but then you have to know how to, like, what order do you put the act in, and how do you present it? I mean, I've gotten much better since, you know, 7 years ago. I did it for 2 years before I started I took a job, and that was 5 years ago. And I'm way better now, because you can keep getting better, you know, and you keep getting more comfortable. But it's you have to learn how to perform, you know. And I knew how to perform, so I had an advantage. but even then, it's tough.
And I guess what can we expect from seeing you doing stand-up? You know, we're seeing you and your personality.
Excuse me. Well, I don't do any of my characters from Saturday Night Live. I tried doing that in the beginning, but it didn't really work. So it's really just me and my sense of humor and my opinion about sex, politics, religions. I make fun of myself. I make fun of really everybody, and whatever I think is funny, I stick in the act. I tell jokes. I play the piano and sing funny songs. I just want it to be funny. I mean, I would say the act is like, it's like smart and silly.
And I guess
like you'd go, what a smart idiot. It's basically what it is.
How much does the audience come into play when you're writing the jokes, or do you not even think about their reaction or what?
Oh well, you're totally dependent on them. It's really. I think Jamie told me Jerry Seinfeld said that it's not a monologue stand up, which I thought it was. Like you remember you act like a monologue and repeat it. He goes, no, it's a dialogue between you and the audience. I thought, well, how could that be? Because I'm the only one talking. But what it is it's just like I'm talking to you, and you're listening to what I'm saying, and you're shaking your head like this. It's that you're talking to the audience.
Right. So
you really need them to be listening, and they're working very hard. So at the end of a show, they're laughing, but they're kind of tired because they really have to think, and keep up with you the whole time, and you have to make sure that your everything you're saying is very clear. And you're setting up jokes in their mind, and it's a real skill that you have to learn. And it took me. I'm still learning about it. You can always get better, and it's fascinating. You can do anything.
And now you've done. You've had a lot of movie roles. You've done the acting thing.
Sorry, I keep coughing.
You've done the acting thing, and you've done sketch comedy and stand up. Which do you prefer, one over the other, or do you find one more satisfying than the other?
As long as I get to be creative, but the stand-up is the newest thing for me, so I find it very, very satisfying, because I just get to be funny, and it's complete freedom because it's my act, so there's nobody giving me notes or saying, no, say it like this or don't say it like that. And the audience, every stand-up will say this, is the audience is your director. If they're laughing, it's working. If it's not, you have to figure out why.
And you also have a comedy club that...
Yeah, I have my own comedy club.
Your name is attached to.
Right.
And kind of how did that come about, and what kind of satisfaction does that offer you?
Well, a guy named Frank Kelly was the manager of an improv in Irvine, and we became friends. And then we decided to open our own club. So we did it at Universal City Walk in Los Angeles. And it's called Jon Lovitz Comedy Club. And we do comedy shows, and then we also do podcasts. So it's also within that there's a Jon Lovitz Podcast Theater. And Kevin Smith, the director, has been set up a whole podcast network called Smodcast, and he did shows at a 50-seat theater, and they wanted to move to bigger space. So now they're set up at our club, and it's great. And they're comedy shows too, but it's you're watching a radio show, but it basically for the internet being recorded. But it's very entertaining, very funny, and we're going to be building like an internet radio station there and start doing those and podcasts in there. It's another form of comedy entertainment. And the club, it's tough. It's been very tough, because of the economy. But we're breaking even right now, which is good. And I guess it's tough,
And what would you say? I mean, I guess to people that might be thinking, oh, should I see a comedy show because of the economy? I don't have the kind of money. And do you think it's beneficial to kind of say, maybe you should come out? Beneficial for you, obviously.
Well,
you own the club,
obviously it's beneficial for me. But I think that if you, if you like comedy, it's a funny show. If you like it, you'll be entertained. And, if you're having a tough time, it's a good way to feel better. Have somebody up there make you laugh. And if you've never been to a comedy club, it's a lot of fun. It's very different. Live entertainment's different than anything, because there's an immediacy to it, and the person's right there in the room with you, and it's very entertaining.
And just finally, if you had to choose which one of the characters you've created as your favorite, which one would it be? Or can you? Is it like children?
No, it's not like children because I don't have to feed them. But no, I know what you mean. I don't know. I like the liar character. Master Thespian was probably my favorite because I love acting, and it's a combination of John Barrymore and, in my mind, John Barrymore, Laurence Olivier, John Carradine, and my professor from college, William Needles, and so he taught me Shakespeare. So it's just a combination of all them, plus just the passion I had for acting, and at the same time I was making fun of these grandiose actors who I thought were great, but you have to make it funny. But it was really more about my desire to be a great actor and try to be great at it.
Did you ever, I guess, where did you make that turn into comedy as opposed to, did you ever want to be a dramatic actor and you just kind of took a different road?
Well, I studied I did plays in high school, and then I was a drama major at UC Irvine, and did about 21 plays, and I did comedies and dramas, and but I was the class clown, you know. And then after that, I took a class acting for the camera, the Film Actors Workshop, with a guy named Tony Barr, and he was a great teacher. And then I would do drama and comedy, but he kept giving me comedy scenes. I go, but I want to do drama too. He goes, you don't understand. He goes, hardly anyone can do comedy. He goes, that's where your strength is. You really should do it. And he was right, you know. And it was nice of him to perceive that, because a lot of acting teachers, they don't want comedy. They really don't understand it, and he did, you know. And I'm glad he did that. And he said to me, you should focus on comedy. That's where your strength is.
Well, thank you so much for sitting with us here.
Sure.
This is Janine Schultz with FM News 101.1, and we're here with Jon Lovitz.